Yo, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to another Jets episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. It is Wednesday, May 31st. And as always, with me, my buddy, my co-host, my pal, the anchor, my main man, Greg Albert. What's up, man? How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing great. Enjoy this weather a little bit. Memorial Day was good. How's everything going for you?
Memorial Day has started. Summer has begun.
Yeah.
NBA Finals about to start tomorrow. We got the Joker versus Jimmy Butler and the GOAT Caleb Martin. That's going to be really fun. I'm really excited for that series. I know everyone thinks it's going to go 4. I think it's going to go 6. So that's going to be fun. My Yankees are streaking. I know you don't want. I don't know if you want to talk baseball.
Sure.
But the Yankees are absolutely murdering right now. So I'm happy about that. Rangers getting a new coach. We have Knicks players on vacation. Not ideal, but we had a good season, so I'm okay with it.
Yep.
And we are soaking up Jets news, man. We are here today. We got OTAs to talk about. We have updates about Jordan Whitehead and Quentin Williams contracts. We have our preseason schedule that's all set, including the Hall of Fame game. We got some details here to iron out with this New York Jets team. Anything caught your eye? From maybe last Flight 23 episode, they did the draft episode. Anything caught your eye from early OTAs here?
I mean, my biggest takeaway from the last episode of The Ascension was that Joe Douglas saw Broderick Jones going to the Steelers ahead of it. Like, everyone was talking about Joe Douglas was on the phone trying to make a trade, took all 10 minutes, all this stuff. Sounded like, he wasn't our top guy. It sounded like the draft room was pretty confident in McDonald. I'm very happy we have him. He seems like a cornerstone piece, hopefully, for this defensive line for the next few years. And just seeing him in person, I mean, the Breece Hall connection was cool. He seems like he's ready to go. So that was awesome. And yeah, I mean, OTAs have started, couple clips, couple things that people are talking about. So a lot going on. What about you? Any takeaways from that? Any takeaways from any of the news that's going on with the OTAs?
Well, you mentioned a couple things. First off, what's up? Astros off the chain. We'll get to the Whitehead restructured contract in
Very
a bit
excited.
here. But from what you just mentioned, Breece Hall, I mean, we see him running. Apparently, he hit 22 on the GPS of miles per hour today, which just sounds pretty good for a guy who just tore his ACL. It feels like yesterday in ACL years, right? I mean, so impressive. And we were panicking just last week with the Ty Johnson news, the bottom of our running back depth chart being cut. Now we have Israel, who's a rookie, and Zonovan Knight, who's undrafted, even though he's my boy from NC State. He's still, maybe this is his rookie year, right? If undrafted free agent running back. And then we have Breece Hall with a torn ACL, and Michael Carter, who, gets run over sometimes when it's time to block. Very interesting that he's coming up big, especially with Zeke still on the market and Dalvin Cook on the market. Big names, Leonard Fournette, even Hunt, he's still on the market. A bunch of big names, and the Jets are just like, we're good to go. And it's probably because they see Breece Hall every day, just absolutely, crushing. And maybe he really is going to be back for week 1. So we'll see how that goes. I'm really excited about that. You also mentioned the Will McDonald piece and Joe Douglas absolutely calling. I mean, maybe it was some editing, right? We know that One Jets Drive is really good. The propaganda machine, we absolutely love it. Apparently, the first episode was the most watched episode they've ever had. Of course, the Ascension with Aaron Rodgers. But shout out to the draft room for at least having a solid 1, 2, 3, right? Broderick Jones was number 3. That is interesting. The fact that Will McDonald was number 1, how convenient, right? How convenient for them to show that. I hope that is a fact. And at this point, we have Michael Clemens, who came in a little bit heavier in quote unquote good weight, which is good. He does look jacked. He's going to be moved a little bit more in towards the middle with John Franklin Myers. And so maybe we're not really, that invested that heavy on the defensive end. We have Carl Lawson, who just restructured. We have a rookie here and then a rookie from last year, and Jermaine Johnson coming off his second year. We'll see what happens. I mean, our D-line looks pretty good. I am confident in our running back situation, especially because I now think there is an 80% chance there's going to be a running back available up until like week 8, week 9 that could be a plug and play in this system, in my opinion. So I'm not really panicking over it. But we're mentioning OTAs. We'll talk about a little bit of the good and a little bit of the, I don't know, kind of makes me nervous. On the offensive side of the ball here with Corey Davis not showing up, it looks like he's going to be here. Denzel Mims not showing up. I'm not sure what that means. Coach Saleh was not doesn't sound too optimistic about Denzel Mims, if I'm being honest with you. Then we have the really, really good side here where Garrett Wilson is absolutely just tearing things up.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is injured, yet he's still coaching. He's still watching Garrett Wilson. He's still going through his progressions with him. I'm really excited about Garrett Wilson. He's going to have a phenomenal day. Sauce Gardner, apparently he's playing some pretty good with some pretty good pace, playing like it's the real practices. So is DJ Reed. They broke up a pass on Lazard. Apparently Zach Wilson didn't have as great of a day as he had yesterday. I'm happy with Zach Wilson getting these reps. He's definitely going to start that Hall of Fame game on that crappy field in Canton. So a lot of him. I'm glad that he's getting his reps in. Aaron Rodgers has this calf, but he's still tossing 50-yard balls. He's still on the bike, still coaching his players. Dwayne Brown coming out and saying that he knows that he has to earn the left tackle. Also said some line. I don't know if I believe him. You can give me your opinion on it real quick. Said that he knew he was going to come back as soon as last year ended. He wasn't going to retire. I'm pretty sure it's all because of Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he'd be back if Zach Wilson was a starter. I'm not risking that. You mentioned, the will for the Jets to win. And lastly, Greg, I'll throw this up to you. Like, we have all that. And then we have Aaron Rodgers talking about, singing that the Jets won the Super Bowl in MetLife at the Taylor Swift concert with confetti coming down. I mean, I want your comment on that and the rest of your comments on the OTAs before we move on here to the restructure for Jordan Whitehead. A little bit of update on the Quinn Williams contract.
Well, I mean, real quick on the Aaron Rodgers thing, because I think it's ridiculous. Just like I thought it was ridiculous when people roasted the Mets for pretending that they won the World Series and celebrating and whatever that was, spring trading practice things. All the Yankees fans lined up and laughed on Twitter for 3 straight days about it. And now all of a sudden the Jet does it, and it's the coolest thing, funniest thing in the world. So
you think Aaron Rodgers is practicing what to do with the Super Bowl? He doesn't need to practice. He already did it. He's just having some fun, but I don't love that. I really don't love it.
Yeah, I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world. I think at the end of the day, they're playing a kid's game. They're having fun, something we've all done our whole entire lives. So I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world. I just thought one of the things you commented on with Dwayne Brown, I just thought it was very interesting. The two different, I don't know if takes or just like the way him and Mekhi Becton are going about this situation, and just how you can tell just if you look at the words on a piece of paper, who's a veteran, who's a young guy still is unproven. Like, I think Dwayne Brown and even Robert Saleh talking about him in today's press conference, just he's going to have to go out there. He's going to have to go out there. He's going to have to prove it. He knows that. He's ready for that. There's a reason why he's been in this league for so long. He can do it year in and year out, and he's done it year in and year out. That's why he's played so long. And then Mekhi Becton on the other side of it is like, I should be left tackle. I should be out there starting, this, that, and the other thing. So I just think it's very interesting that I like that we have this competition. I like that we're all healthy enough to have this competition. I'm just interested in what's going to go on with Mekhi Becton if he doesn't end up winning the starting left tackle position, and how that's all going to shape out this, to start the season.
This Mekhi Becton thing has me on my toes, but that's for a different episode for a different day. I would say we have some. I'm gonna call it good news. I'm curious what you think. I'm curious what Astros off the chain has to say about it. He has an explanation point. Whitehead's restructured contract. I mean, I don't know how everyone feels, so I'm curious. We have some backwards news coming in, right? Shout out to Over the Cap.
Yep.
They just like kind of just snuck it in there today that Jordan Whitehead, who up until today he was 3, let's call it $3 million in dead cap and a $10 million cap hit, which honestly is subject to being cut in today's NFL. He restructured with a bunch of void years, but what you need to know is his cap year is $5 million this year and 3.3 next year. That is very interesting, especially with Chuck Clark with his 1-year deal. He talked about who he traded for him from Baltimore. He said, to paraphrase, he was not happy with the Ravens selection of Hamilton, safety from Notre Dame. He started every game, Clark, but he didn't like his playing time. He's now going to start every single game for the New York Jets. He's going to be next to Whitehead. Let's start here. What do you think about this restructure? What do you think about the safeties now that it's, in my opinion, solidified? We did have Ashton Davis post a GIF of Cam Newton, doing the bobble, the bobbing his head and kind of insinuating that he's being disrespected and okay, I'll show you kind of face. If I could verbal meme it, that's the best I could do. So I thought he was subject to cut. He's still on the team. But however, June 1st is tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. What are your thoughts about the restructure? What are your thoughts about the safety position? Are you cool now? Or are you still staring at Amos and some other safeties in the free agent market? What's your thoughts on the safety?
I think the safety situation is okay. I'm okay with both these veterans out here starting for us, especially when you have DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner at the DB position. It's just, they don't have to be spectacular in order to be effective for us. So, if they can, cause some chaos, get a couple turnovers, make some big plays, stop a tight end from scoring a touchdown, because it happens to us every year, that would be huge. So I'm okay with the position. I like the restructure. It obviously gives us more money to either give to Q Will if that's part of the problem.
You think that's what this is? Because everybody's restructuring. Aaron Rodgers making $1 million this year. However, we're not making any really crazy deals this year, and we have this whole Q Will situation, which we'll get into with a little bit of an update, but not really, by Kaz.
Yeah, I just think not enough's being talked about, if I'm understanding the whole cap situation correctly, because I think the cap situation is complicated and the average fan doesn't really care too much about it, and it's kind of a lot of nuance, and the cap number really doesn't matter, until until the last second, because you can always restructure and do this and do that. You can get very creative with it. I just think there's a lot of praise that should go to Joe Douglas and his front office's the way they go about business. Because not just with the draft picks, not just with the signings, not just the way they build this roster, but the way they finance this roster. I mean, I saw something with after Whitehead's move. I think we have like the third most flexible cap space in the league right now. We have like some of the lowest dead money out of any organization. Like, that's just, like, I think, a tremendous feat with the amount of players and stars hopefully we have on this roster. I mean, we all knew Aaron Rodgers' contract was unreal. Cap wise, so that's a huge help. But the way we're looking right now, I mean, I don't think this Q Will thing gets I get less nervous about it as the days go by, because there is money to pay him. Now it's just a matter of what the holdup could be besides pay, because the market is the market. 4 people have signed. We know what a tremendous player like Q Will should be getting. He's not head and shoulders better than any of these other people that are got paid this offseason. So maybe a couple $1 million more, maybe $2 million more a season, $1 million more a season, and we're good to go. He's not going to get Aaron Donald money. No one expects that. So I don't know really what the holdup is.
So the Jets, you mentioned dead money. Right now, they are at $8 million in dead money, with the most being to Braxton Berrios. Shout out to him.
Yeah,
So I would say I agree. keeping that dead money pretty low is pretty good. The Jets right now have 24 million in cap space, and that's with paying Quinn Williams around 9 million this year. So I
Yeah.
have to figure that we're going to take that 9 million, kind of move it around and give him his 24. We see how the Jets operate. They like to have some money with them all season long, just in case.
Yeah.
Looks like usually they carry. I remember last year they were carrying like 6 million for a while, and then it dropped to like 3 million. But we always had some money, just in some. I would say some rainy day fund, just in case.
It just keeps your options open. Like, look at like what they talked about the DeAndre Hopkins becoming available all of a sudden. KC and Baltimore were the odds-on favorites in Vegas right away when it happened, and then you start looking at it. They each have like $1.6 million of cap space. If DeAndre Hopkins wants to make any type of money, he's not going to be able to go there. And we're sitting with $24 million. Like, it's a crazy difference to where we're at. And again, like, I think it's just a testament to Joe Douglas and his front office. Another dimension we talked about in the offseason, the kind of signs of success with compensatory picks and other things that these veteran general managers and front offices are able to see, and that's a sign of a good front office. I think this is another thing. This cap flexibility, and like you said, being able to hold a little, dry powder throughout the season. So if someone does get hurt, you can go out there and sign someone week 6, and you're not scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, so I am with you. Kaz from the New York Post, he insinuated that the talks are closer than we think. Okay,
Good.
sounds good. He did just have a baby. That doesn't really get talked about much. Corey Davis's wife, I think, also just had a baby. And then I think Michael Carter, the cornerback, he just got engaged. So a little bit of family stuff, but why they're not trying to go to practice OTAs and right after Memorial Day. I think they just have some stuff going on. They'll be back. Everybody is going to be back. The vibes are immaculate around this team. The preseason schedule did come out. We do have the Hall of Fame game August 3rd, opening up the NFL, which I'm really excited about that. I don't think I'm going to be in the country, but that is a nice little touch. We got week 1, Panthers at Panthers, August 12th. Doesn't hit the same without Sam Darnold. We got preseason week 2, home. We got Todd Bowles coming through August 19th. And then week 3, we're at the New York Giants, August 26th, the first of 2 matchups against them. We have 2 preseason games this year. Very interesting. But yeah, I mean, the Jets are having a pretty nice OTA in my opinion. Aaron Rodgers came out and was throwing some. You mentioned tight ends. He was throwing to Kuntz, who we just drafted, and Ruckert, who's the MVP so far of the OTAs, according to the beat reporters, throwing them some touchdown lobs. I mean, I'm okay with that. We have Mike Rubino joining the show, talking about Garrett Wilson being interviewed right now on SNY during the Met game. He's actually going to throw out the first pitch. Greg, I know you have some thoughts about that.
Love it. Love to see it. Love the synergy.
My question to you, Greg.
Yeah.
We're done with the Jets talk, I guess, for a second. But my question is, do you care when players are you going to care if Garrett Wilson goes to the Mets today, throws out the first pitch, and then goes, to a Yankee game like Zach Wilson was doing, or do we want them to keep it separate? What are your thoughts on that? Just while we're on this quick topic.
Garrett Wilson showed up to New York a year ago. Like, he's gonna have an allegiance to one of our franchises. Like, what are we talking about? Like, no, some of these people are nuts about that kind of stuff. I mean, if you're a fan, you're a fan. If you're from here, you're from here. I get it. But I mean, the dude was in Ohio for 4 years before he showed up. I can't remember where he's from, but I don't expect him to be allegiant to any of these teams or any of these venues. I mean, New York has so much to offer. That's what's so cool about, if you're a young superstar like Garrett Wilson, there's so much to do, like throwing out the first pitch at the Mets games when we hopefully beat the Phillies and, get a little win streak going of ourselves. I know the Yankees are hot. Hopefully the Mets get a little hot here.
So you're okay with Garrett Wilson throwing the first pitch in the Mets and then showing up to Legend seats in Yankee Stadium?
Completely fine with it. Enjoy yourself, baby. It's the summer. It's baseball season.
Let's go. You heard it here first from Greg. Anything else to add, Greg, besides For me, my last note is check out Flight 23 tomorrow. I honestly cannot wait for the more Jets propaganda. I'm
Oh,
annoyed that it comes out during the NBA Finals game, so I'm gonna have to obviously wait. Maybe I'll watch it at halftime.
yeah.
Honestly, I'm like,
I was thinking about getting out a stopwatch for the last episode of how much time that you get of Joe Douglas in slow motion. I feel like we got like 3 minutes and like 10 or 5 second clips added up over the course of an episode. Dude, the guy's in slow motion nonstop. I love it. It's cool. It's hype, but it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm very excited for this episode. I couldn't expect of how awesome of an episode last episode was. So, I mean, just keep seeing these inside the scenes, behind the scenes stuff. My last thing too, the $24 million, like you said, maybe 9 million, 10 million going to Q Will this year. It gives us 14. Plenty of money to
in
sign.
addition. Oh no, he already has 9 million on the books, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay, I got you. There's 24 million after that.
Yeah, there's 24 million right now, and there's 9 million right now going to Q Will. If you're restructuring that, if you're moving that all around, you might be able to just give him the 24 and kind of hold on to 9.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So then here's my last question. Are we signing DeAndre Hopkins?
Oh, no, Simon. I mean, I love Coach Sala so much. Like, you see how when they were talking about Aaron Rodgers and getting a veteran quarterback and adding how they were talking about that. When they were kind of talking about the running back situation, we all thought they were lying, and they weren't. And I don't think they're lying about the wide receivers either. They said we're good, then we're good. We're not spending $15 million on DeAndre Hopkins. They mentioned the fact that Odell Beckham, we were about to do that, and he said that Odell Beckham was a different situation. I'm cool with that. I believe them. I do think Denzel Mims is going to go, so I don't know how really happy they are. So we'll see. Maybe add some background wide receivers, but I don't think we're going to get DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think we're going to get Dalvin Cook. I don't think we're going to get Zeke Elliott. They're not going to mess with the top of the depth charts. I really don't think so.
Yeah, one of the last takeaways, and I'll leave it with this, is listening to Coach Sala's press conference today, talking about the difference in an organization when the coaches no longer have to take the responsibility of like setting the standard for the players, and the players take responsibility for themselves. Like he talked about when he was back in Michigan State, one of the assistants there, or one of the people there in the organization was just talking about how that's like when you really start humming as a team is when the players take responsibility for showing up on time, doing the right thing, attention to detail, commitment to the game, and the coaches can stop focusing on that stuff as much and start focusing more on the tape, getting players ready, all that stuff. It really becomes synergistic, really becomes a cohesive unit and a collaborative effort to go out here and win these football games. And it sounds like he's seeing it this offseason. So I'm very excited about that. I just can't wait till we start playing actual games and we see what actually happens, because I get too excited. I got my futures bets in. I took the Jets to score a rushing touchdown every game.
Oh, I've taken so many of those. I've taken so many of the FanDuel bets, including the petty one where the Jets make the playoffs and the Green Bay does it.
I just got so many now. I got like anything I can think of. I got like the Nuggets to win and then the Jets to win the Super Bowl in a parlay. I got
I have that too.
I got Djokovic in the French Open. I don't know if he won today or not. I think he played at 12. I got Djokovic and the Jets. Like I'm just tapping, a little bit here and there, a little bit here and there.
I love it.
As much as I can with the Jets now, because I'm all in. I'm very excited for this team.
I love it. Last note here before we go. McGovern was taking the center snaps with Tippmann at guard today. Pretty interesting. We just have some injuries on the offensive line, but sounds like McGovern's going to start. And as much as we love Tippmann, also this whole Tippmann thing, picking Tippmann over JMS, picking Tippmann over everybody in the draft room. Oh my, I love that so much. In the process, in the draft room, they love Tippmann. Let's go. Wisconsin center, like I'm down. McGovern's going to have his year. If he stinks, he's going to jump right in. If we need him at guard, he's going to come in. I'm happy about the Jets. Any last note?
No, I love the bullet. Keep it going, Tippmann.
Oh, let's go. He's gotten a lot of heat, quote unquote, for that. I think just because of the one Jets drive episode. I guess last note is we did sign that offensive tackle, Yadni Kajusti. Definitely not how you say his name, but that's how it sounds to me. So we are adding beef, as you like to call it. And that's it for this episode. We are in May right now, May 31st. We're about to be in the summer right now. Kind of tough to find Jets news. Don't freak out about every single pass on 7-on-7s. But yeah, I'm hyped, man. You know what to do. Hit us up on Twitter. Knicks, Jets, etc. Period. I'm at J Meleka. Greg's Winning P Weekly. We're also on YouTube. Knicks, Jets, etc. Like, subscribe, hit us with the comments. Thanks to the people who joined us on the live, Mike and Astros Off the Chain. Shout out to you guys. You know where to find us: Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, you name it, we are there. Any last words, Greg, besides let's go Yankees?
No, let's go Yankees, let's go Mets, and let's go One Jets Drive. We're the Ascension, take flight. I'm ready for the new episode this week.
Let's go Yankees. We out. Jets, 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 Jets.